Hello there, my name is Philip and welcome to Totally Amazing. Today I'm going to give you the tip for an easy to draw zombie. Before we get started, make sure you stay right to the end for the secret word of awesomeness. Anyway, for today you're going to need a pencil, a rubber, a marker, some colors, some paper of course, and you're going to need a shovel, just in case. Remember, aim for the head. Alrighty, so let's start digging. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start off with our skeleton. Look for jagged lines. So we're going to have uncomfortable lines. So this is like the torso. I'm going to have the head on a weird angle over here. And I'm going to give him a funny jaw. So I'm going to put a bit of a mark over here for our jaw. So there's the skull, there's the jaw. Let's have an arm. So the shoulder's going to be a bit high. And I'm going to have a hand out here. And this one's going to be back a bit and a bit gnarled. See how I've got a harsh angle there? And so let's put in our legs. We want strange, uncomfortable angles for our legs. Okay, so there's our, I'm going to put in the ribs so I can see where the ribs would go. So there's our uncomfortable looking skeleton for our zombie, which is kind of ironic. Okay, so now let's start drawing our head. So remember, this is our jaw over here. So I'm going to put in a little line over here to show where the eye is going to be. Now with the eyes, we're not actually going to draw these lovely normal eyes that we usually do, because remember, it's pulled back into the grave. So we're going to basically be drawing the eye socket. So draw a circle, and then you put your eye inside, and we'll just sort of color that in. That's going to be dark, so it makes it look all gloomy, makes it look all sick. So we've got our circle inside of our eyes. Now we're going to leave the inside of the eyes blank. The nose itself, it's sort of rotted and gone away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a upside down V. I'm just going to put in some nostril marks, and that's going to basically be our nose. Now what you want to do now, you want to accentuate the pulled back into the grave look. You want to just put in a few extra little lines. You're going to have a jagged, you want more jagged angles too, to make it look more pulled onto the skull. I'm going to have another jagged line over here for this side of the skull, and over here as well. His ear's going to be over here, so I'm going to put an indicator, and I'm going to leave that part there because I'm going to show you something in a sec. Okay, so the mouth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle, and then I'm going to draw a line across and put in my teeth. Now, so what I want to do here is I want to put some jagged lines across, and then just put a few little dashes and dots in there just to mark that, so it looks like the fleshy bit. Okay, so now for the bottom of the jaw, I'm going to actually stretch it out a bit. So I'm going to draw like a C over here, and again I'm going to have my teeth like so, and the jaw is going to be real angular, and I have my fleshy bit. So again, just put in some markings, and now to make it really gross, I'm going to put in some tendons just sort of hanging there, so the jaw is actually hanging. That's gross. Now for the hair, you want it to be flat and wiry. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in just some jagged lines, but make sure it's sort of thin. You don't want it to look healthy because it's been dead for a while. And just have some jagged, uncomfortable lines. They can be really flat, have a few sticking up. So it's like that. So it's really, you don't want your hair looking like this. It's really unkempt hair. And while we're here, why don't we give him a little bit of a worm? So I'm going to put a squiggle worm like this. So it's two squiggly lines. So there's a worm crawling out of his ear, because that's like, it's gross. It's gross. It's really gross. Why would I do that? So we'll do that anyway. Okay, so now I'm just going to put in a few little extra lines just to really accentuate the pulled back. So we're going to be putting in lots of rot lines, I'm going to call them, to make it look more pulled back. So there's our basic head. Okay, so now let's work on the torso of our zombie. So what we're going to do, we're going to give him some rotten clothes. So what we have here, we want more jagged lines. So I've got these over here for the collar. And now you don't want any straight edges, so it's going to be really torn and broken up. I'm going to have a bit of a torn bit down here, and we're going to have some jagged lines over here. Now we've got our extra lines over here for the shirt. I'm going to go a little bit over the edge there so that it exemplifies that this bit's in front of this bit. Now what you want to do is you put in a few rot lines, And just have a few random lines just to make it look like it's all dirty, it's crinkled, it helps shows that. Okay, so we're still in the chest area, so what I'm gonna do now, this guy's gutless, he's missing his guts. So let's draw that. Now, remembering my line, I'm gonna draw a sort of a jagged line over here. And then what I'm gonna do, because our ribs are over here, I'm gonna put in just one rib over here, and I can have two broken ribs over here. So they're basically going out and back in. Ugh. And now we've got this side over here. So we've got to remember it's like a cylinder. So we've got our back over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting in some bit of flesh. So you just sort of draw a wavy line, and same at the back here. Now for the rib itself, I'm going to put in some curves to indicate that it's a rib, and just bring them in a bit. And then I'm going to have some more sort of just wavy lines to show that there's flesh coming off it. It's really just, it's yummy. And then at the base here, we're going to have where it all connects. So we want, imagine circles and just sort of draw parts of them. And we can have some more fleshy lines as well. So just some jagged lines, which we will color in later. Okay, so now let's start working on the legs. So his pants are going to be basically the same as the top. So what we're going to do here, we're going to have a jagged line around the edge here. Just some jagged edges. That's the pants. And then remember his legs are all gnarled around. So you want strange, uncomfortable folds. And of course, again, the jagged edges, nothing straight. There's no clean cut parts of this guy's clothing. It's all rotted away. And we're going to do the same on this side. Just some jagged, uncomfortable lines. So, and then what we're going to do, we're going to add in some rot lines. Again, just to really accentuate that it's all crinkled and folded. It's not been taken care of for a long time. He hasn't ironed his clothes in a long time. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in some circles to show that there's holes here. And so there's his pants. Okay, so with the actual flesh of the legs, usually on our bodies, we have plump, healthy legs. So we go out and in. This is going to be the opposite. We're going to go in and then out, sort of following the shape of the bone. So we've got the knee over here. So remember, the bones are going to be quite protruding, and then we're going to go in rather than, so usually we'd go out like so for strong legs, but this time we're going in. So we can forget these lines. We don't need those. Those are just for a healthy body. And our zombie friend here, he ain't healthy. He ain't having a good day. He ain't happy. So we're going to go in, then out. And what I'm even going to do to help accentuate the rot, the pulled back, I'm going to put in some jagged line up here and down here, join them up, go a little bit beyond this line that I made here, and then I'm just going to put in some rot lines. So that's like a flesh bit. So it's easy. Like I said, the skin's torn. That's what's happened here. Okay, so we're going to do the same on this side. We're going to have our main bones up here. And we're going to come in and then out. In and then, so we're going to, there's the bone, in, out. That's the curve shape of the in and out that you want. And again, some more rot lines. You've got your knee over here. And let's put in another jagged bit for pull back into the grave. Alrighty, so now let's start working on his feet. Okay, so for the feet, you want to have some quite jagged angles. So I've got a jagged angle for the heel over here, and then we come down, and then coming up, make it real jagged. And then we want to have the toes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now with the toenails, you want to put jagged little shapes in, so that the toenails haven't had a good time, haven't had a manicure in quite a long time. And then we want to put in, actually I want to go in and out, not out and in. So that would go the other way around, wouldn't it? So in and out. And then we put in some rot lines on the heel and make it look all gross. Anyway. Now remember, we've got our wicked angle, so I'm going to have a bit of a foot coming towards us this time. You want some jagged angles. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and jagged shapes for the toenails. Put in a few rot lines. You can even put in a few little circles as well. Just a few little circles to help show that there's the decay and stuff's festering. It's just gross. Alrighty, so now let's start working on the arms and hands. Okay, so like the legs, the arms are going to be very thin. So I'll bring them in like so. And remember, we're going to have our mostly protruding bone. So it goes out and then in. So there's more bone there than there is muscle. A few rot lines. Okay, so now the actual hands themselves. You want, again, some quite jagged angles. So there's like a V there and a V there. And now what I'm going to do, I've got the general shape of where the hand's going to go. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 fingers and a thumb out here. Now with your fingers, usually we have a plump bit that goes sort of out between our knuckles. What we're going to do with our zombie hands is going to be the opposite. So we're going to be going in, like we did with the arms and legs. So we're going to be going in rather than out. Bring that over, jagged, jagged, jagged. I want lots of jagged angles. Now, so let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to go in, and then the knuckle, in, and then the knuckle. And then I'm going to have a bit of a claw look, because I think it just looks cool. Give them claws, why not? Again, going in, knuckle. So if you want, you can even put circles in and go in between them to make it a bit easier for yourself. So I'll do that again over here, 2 circles, go in between them, and then another point. And then this one, let's make it that he's lost the top of his finger so we can see a bit of the bone, because he's not having a good day. So 1 and 2, so in between, and then over here we're just going to have a little bit of a rectangle there so that we can see his bone. We can see his bone! You can see the bone! Okay, so now this arm, what I'm going to do is going to have just a little bit of the arm showing. We're not going to see the shoulder over here because it's hidden behind the body. So I'm just going to have a bit of the arm over here, and this hand's going to be really gnarled in. He's really got lots of rigor mortis happening on this side. So we're just going to have some jagged lines like so, and even an extra finger there, and that's basically that arm done. So I'm just going to put in another little rot over here. Okay, so that's the penciling of our zombie done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my marker and I'm going to fill in all the lines that I want to keep, and then I'm going to rub out all the lines that I don't want to keep, because it'll just help bring the character to life. By the way, did you ever notice that when you mostly see zombies, they're usually male? What's with that? I believe in equal opportunity. So in my comic Antispire, I've got male and female zombies, and not just human. I have orc zombies, I have dwarf zombies, I have elves, I have griffins, I have satyrs, I have everything. I believe in equal opportunity for all zombies. So if you want to see more, make sure you check out the link in the description. And there you have it, a really gross, great looking zombie. He looks fantastic. So you got through all that. Well done you. So I guess you're waiting for the secret word of awesomeness. Well, it's gross. It's just gross. Oh. So put gross into the description to let people know how awesome you are and how much of a thick stomach you have. Well done. Ooh, what a creepy zombie. So what you want to do now is you want to go to this video that's on screen right now so that you can put your zombie in a spooky scenery to make it look like he's coming out of a spooky forest. So check out the video that's on your screen right now.